Almost 24 hours after the Indian Air Force carried out what we called a non-military preemptive strike on the Jaish-e-Mohammed terror camps in Pakistan's Balakot, Pakistan today responded by targeting military installations on the Indian side. According to the Ministry of External Affairs, Pakistan's attempts were detected and the Indian Air Force foiled those attempts. Remember, Pakistan had claimed that it had targeted non-military locations in India. However, that claim has been denied by the Indian government. Also, the Indian Air Force shot down one of Pakistan's fighter aircraft. However, the Ministry of External Affairs has said that India also lost a MiG-21 Bison in that engagement, and one Indian pilot of the Indian Air Force is missing in action. Now remember, Pakistan has put out visuals claiming to be of an Indian Air Force pilot. The Indian government says it's still verifying those claims on whether the Indian Air Force pilot who has gone missing is indeed the one shown in the video that's been released by Pakistan. CNBC TV 18 has maintained that we will not show those visuals that have been released by the Pakistan Army because that is in contravention to the Geneva Convention norms. In fact, Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan speaking, addressing a media briefing, saying categorically that, in fact, using the word pilots, saying Indian pilots are in our custody, we have shot down their jets, but also saying that appealing to India to engage in a dialogue, saying that history has shown us that miscalculations lead to misadventure. That's the soundbite that you're seeing on your screens. We'll get to that in just a second, but that's the Pakistan Prime Minister essentially saying we are willing to speak with India, that we had offered India full cooperation and we would like to sit and resolve this issue via dialogue. We hope that this is not going to spin out of control. In fact, that was the last line of the statement issued by Pakistan earlier today, and I quote, "We do not wish to go down that route and wish that India gives peace a chance and to resolve issues like a mature democratic nation." Meanwhile, Pakistan's Prime Minister's claims saying that, I quote, "If the situation escalates from here on, things might spin out of control." He also said, and I quote again, "Better sense should prevail and we should sit down and talk." Meanwhile, the Indian Express has reported that US President Donald Trump is planning to make personal calls to Prime Ministers Modi and Imran Khan on the situation that is developing. Parikshit Luthra joins us now with more. Parikshit, a very brief meeting there of the joint briefing of the Ministry of External Affairs and the Indian Air Force, confirming that a MiG-21 is down and that a pilot of the Indian Air Force is missing, saying that they're still verifying Pakistan's claims on holding the Indian Air Force pilot in captivity.
That's right. That was a very brief, almost a 40 to 50-second statement that was delivered by Ravish Kumar, the spokesperson of the spokesperson of the Ministry of External Affairs, right here at the MA office. You had RGK Kapoor, the Air Vice Marshal, who was also here, but he didn't take any questions. Neither did the MA spokesperson. Now, this statement, while it does clarify that we have lost one MiG aircraft, possibly in Pakistani territory, and we've got one pilot missing in action. We don't know the name of the pilot as yet. Also, the Pakistani Prime Minister, when he addressed that press conference, he said we have Indian pilots in our custody. So what about the second pilot? Because the Pakistan Army had claimed that they had managed to arrest two Indian pilots. Having said that, we also need to know what happened to that Mi-17 helicopter. Till now, there is no formal statement from the Indian Air Force or the Indian government on what happened to that aircraft. So the MEA telling us that so far there is no information on that. There is no information on any second pilot, and they don't want to speculate any further. It remains to be seen now whether the phone lines will be open with Pakistan, whether we've contacted them, whether we have sought access for our pilot. So far, a lot of names are doing the rounds in the media, but of course we're not taking any of those names just yet. We will await for a final word from the Indian Air Force and the Indian government. But it remains to be seen how the government will move forward from here. A lot of high-level meetings taking place around South Block. The Prime Minister held a long meeting with the Foreign Secretary, the NSA, the defense chiefs as well. Again, it is the diplomat, it is the MEA diplomats which have been put in front for those press statements, important press statements, to send out the message that we don't want to escalate. Even the statement today was rather measured and did not sound provocative at all.
All right, Parikshit, thanks very much for detailing what was said in that very short briefing held by the Ministry of External Affairs jointly with the Indian Air Force. To take this discussion forward, joining us now, Vivek Kajju, former Secretary for the Ministry of External Affairs, Vinod Patni, retired Air Marshal, and we'll be joined shortly by our First Post Consulting Editor, Praveen Swami. Gentlemen, appreciate you joining us here on the program. Mr. Kajju, if I could start by asking you, we've seen a statement being issued by Pakistan earlier today saying that they had undertaken strikes across the line of control, but from within Pakistani airspace, going on to say that Pakistan did not strike at military targets, which of course now has been rendered meaningless, because you've just heard from the Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan saying that they have in fact shot 2 Indian Air Force jets, which is something that the Indian Air Force has not corroborated. The Indian Air Force saying that we've lost only 1 MiG-21 Bison in the strike that took place earlier today. But Imran Khan also making it clear that they want dialogue with India, in fact going on to say, and I quote, "If the situation escalates, it might get out of my hands or Modi's hands." Vivek Kajju, what do you make of this?
Look, the Pakistani action today was provocative and escalatory. We had not struck any target of the state of Pakistan, military or civil. We had struck a terrorist facility, and it was a preemptive strike. We had played it very, very low key yesterday. We had not even put forward the Air Force. We had given no details of the military operation, and we wanted really to give Pakistan an escape route. They have not seized that. They have upped the ante, and they've done it because they want to show the world that the matters can escalate. Now, having taken this provocative action, Imran Khan has been put forward by the military to really show the world that they are a reasonable people, that they are being very cautious and careful. There's a wide difference between their actions and Imran Khan's words. So now their object is to draw in international opinion, the intervention of the great powers. And if, as I've heard on your program, that President Donald Trump wants to talk to our Prime Minister and Imran Khan, that's not surprising, because he is engaged in a very delicate negotiations with the North Koreans. The Americans are also involved in talks with the Taliban, and the Taliban has been making statements that Indo-Pak tensions will retard that process. So the Pakistanis' aim is really to show that this has always been so, that if India, in response to a Pakistan origin terrorist act, it responds with its regular forces. If it takes kinetic action on the territory of Pakistan, then an escalation will ensue, and that is not good, because both countries have nuclear weapons. My last sentence. The Pakistanis are playing to their doctrine, they are playing to their script. Now, really, yesterday the ball was in their court. Today, as I see it, the ball is in the Prime Minister's court, in Mr. Modi's court, and he has to decide what he wishes to do at this stage. Imran Khan is saying that, look, you took action, we took action. Now, there's a world of difference between their action and our action, between their articulation and the way we had played it. So it's up to the Prime Minister to decide what does he want to do. And I suppose the nation will stand by him. I'm convinced the nation will stand by him, whatever decision he takes.
Sure. I'll come back to you, Mr. Kajju, in just a second, but let me go across to Praveen Swami. Praveen, as Vivek Kajju there was pointing out, there is a big difference between the walk and the talk of Pakistan. We'll get Praveen in just a second, but Air Marshal Patni, let me put that question to you. There's a big difference between the walk and talk of what Pakistan is saying and then its actions. Yesterday, when India carried out its preemptive strike, it was against the Jaish-e-Mohammed terror camps, as Vivek Kajju was pointing out. It was not against the Pakistani Air Force or the Pakistani Army or any military installation. with the action carried forward by Pakistan today, which Mr. Kaju believes is provocative and escalatory, what are the choices now for India?
Firstly, as far as walk the talk is concerned, does anybody expect that Pakistan and its Prime Minister will indeed walk the talk towards peace? We would be naive to even imagine that. What has Pakistan done today? They sent three F-16 aircraft towards our side. The statements that are emanating from Pakistan are far from clear. And over here, they certainly came onto our side. Now, we have a system in place where it says that in peacetime, no fighter aircraft should come anywhere close to 10 kilometers from the line of control. Now, 10 kilometers is a long distance. I understand that the line of control is not really marked in stone on the ground, but I'm sure that with the radars that are available, a mistake of 10 kilometers could not have occurred. And as far as we are concerned, we abide by this rule completely. But in case one of their aircraft or more of their aircraft come within our side of the line of control, then we must take action, because we don't know what he will do next. So action was taken. Possibly an engagement took place. And when that engagement took place, one F-16 was downed, and unfortunately one of our MiG-21s is missing. This is the result of a particular engagement. There is nothing wrong in it. Is it provocation?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Yes.
What else could Imran Khan and Pakistan have done to show that they also mean a little bit of business? They couldn't have just taken yesterday's activity lying down. They had to take action. And they have taken this, which I think, to large measure, is a limited action. Will it stop here? Will it escalate? We will have to wait and watch. We have to be conscious that it could escalate. And we have to be careful with our defenses and our plans to take action as and when there is a chance of its escalation.
Absolutely. I think that escalation control measures are equally important. Emma Patni, I wanted to very quickly also get you to comment on the way forward now that the Indian Air Force and the Ministry of External Affairs have confirmed that one Indian Air Force pilot is missing in action. The Pakistan Prime Minister claims that they have pilots in custody. The Pakistan Army earlier today had said that they have 2 pilots in custody. Given what the experience has been, for instance, during the Kargil conflict, what would you now expect in this situation, sir?
I would have expected that if somebody like Pakistan has got 2 of our pilots in custody, they should put the photographs out. The mere fact that they are not putting their photographs out, is it that they've been killed? Or is it that they are so badly injured? Even if they are badly injured, it doesn't take time to take a photograph and put it out in the papers.
Marshal Patni, if I may interrupt you, sir, they have in fact released video footage of one of the pilots. The second claim has been injured and hence is in hospital, but they have put out video footage of one pilot, which we are not showing in order so as to not violate the Geneva Convention norms, sir. But the Pakistan Army did put out video footage this morning.
No, video footage of the pilot or a downed aircraft?
Of the pilot. No, sir, of the pilot. Of the pilot. Blindfold. Of the pilot, sir. Blindfolded pilot,
I'm sure the
giving out his name.
Recognized it. But have we not said, yes, it is ours or it is not?
No, sir, we have only said that we are ascertaining the facts.
Yes, unless we get the facts, how do we comment?
Vivek Kaju, if you could comment on that, sir.
We've acknowledged that one pilot is missing in action. No, we've played it correctly. We've said one pilot is missing in action. And that naturally, and we are ascertaining details, it is for Pakistan to inform us through the regular channels, the well-established channels, that the pilot is in their custody. And once they do that, then interaction takes place, as Air Marshal Patni knows that is the standard operating procedures between countries in such cases. But the point I want to emphasize is that the Pakistanis, by targeting military installations and by saying that actually they had only sort of tried to have a demonstrating effect by firing short of the targeting that they had done, and their claim is not tenable. So they have provoked us. You don't target military installations. There are various ways of demonstrating capability. If their intention was only to demonstrate capability, why target military installations? That is a hugely provocative act. It is escalatory. Yesterday we were downplaying it. As I said, we were giving them an escape route, but they have not taken that. Obviously, they have a domestic opinion. They have domestic opinion and a constituency, and Imran Khan has to act, but not in this fashion. So after having done all that, he says, "Okay, we call it quits." If in colloquial, I would say he's saying, "Chalo, tumne kiya, humne kiya, ab chalo aake kal ke baat kare." Arey bhai, the actual provocation is their continuing terrorism. Let's never forget that. The whole root cause of the problems between India and Pakistan is their terrorism, which they continue to deny. Let's never overlook that basic fact.
I don't think anybody is overlooking that fact, sir. But Air Marshal Patni, I think what is going to be important now is to assess the manner in which India will respond through the course of the day today. Even after making many provocative statements, the Pakistan side does continue to maintain that it wants to initiate dialogue, it wants to sit across the table and try and resolve this matter, so to speak. Imran Khan once again suggesting or alluding that, look, I'm a democratically elected representative. If matters go out of my hand, if this spins out of control, then, we don't know where this could possibly be headed. So what kind of calibrated response would you expect? Because that seems to be the message that Pakistan is trying to send out to the world, that we're now taking the reasonable position. We've responded to the action initiated by India, but we would now like to take the reasonable position forward.
I find it very amusing, Shereen, that the Prime Minister of a country, is suggesting that things could go out of his control. I mean, what sort of a Prime Minister says that things could go out of his control? My second point is this, that have they really struck any of our military installations, or they've just been in that area? Because we have military installations right across the LC. So I'm not sure at present as to whether they were attacking anything. And I'm not sure as to whether they caused any damage. My third point that you really asked, as to what should we do and how should we react, I think we should just ignore whatever they are saying. If it is diplomatically wise, we shall respond to what they are saying, but in our own little measured manner. What we should do is a very different story. Naturally, we must be careful about a possible, I won't say escalation, possible another sort of military action on their part, or a terrorist action on their part. We must be ready for it, we must be prepared for it, and we must have our answers to it. All this will require preparation. And that preparation has to be now, not when it occurs. So I don't think we should really get too concerned about what emanates from Pakistan. We would much rather be concerned about what is our capability and how to portray that capability to a country like Pakistan. And I cannot speak about Pakistan in more down-to-earth manner. Okay?
Right. Vivek, yes, Air Marshal Patni, but let me go back across to Vivek Kaju. Mr. Kaju, as far as the diplomatic efforts are concerned, and we did talk about the fact that President Trump is expected to speak with both Prime Ministers Modi and Khan. That is what the Indian Express is reporting at this point in time. But, Sushma Swaraj has met with her Chinese counterparts as well. She is going to be attending for the very first time the OIC meet. Pakistan unlikely to show up for that, given the fact that the Indian invitation has been extended to Sushma Swaraj. What would you now expect in terms of next steps diplomatically?
Well, I think the international community will really like this situation to de-escalate. Quite clearly, their primary interest is not in stopping terrorism which emanates from Pakistan and comes to India, and which has been continuing for 30 years. It is to ensure that there is no armed conflict between two countries, who are two neighboring countries, and countries with nuclear weapons. That is their interest. So they'll, as in the past, they will come and try to intervene in what is happening so that tempers cool down and, there's calm. The decision is for us. When Air Marshal Patni says that did they cause damage to military installations, it is our government that has informed the people that the Pakistanis targeted military installations, and it was perhaps the action of our Air Force, the timely action of our Air Force, that prevented their targeting to be successful. So the very fact that they targeted our military installations is itself provocative. We did not target any institution of the Pakistan state. We didn't target any of their state facilities. We targeted a terrorist camp of the JEM. There's a world of difference between the targeting of a terrorist facility and a military installation of a sovereign state. They're absolutely two different things.
Right.
So,
different things.
Actually,
yes, that is the distinction that India has made repeatedly. Yes.
Yes. So Imran Khan now wants
sir.
to project to his people that, look, as he says, we have two pilots, we have downed the aircraft, and therefore, not only have we restored balance, we've come on top, and now magnanimously we can tell Indians that come and let's talk. But that's not the point. The point is, he must say, I will stop terrorism. If he says that, yes, I will stop terrorism, and then things would be different. Finally, Air Marshal Patni rightly says, what kind of a Prime Minister says that things will go out of his control? My point is, when were things under his control when it came to India? Never. It is the Pakistani generals who decide the India policy. He's only a front at the moment.
Right. Well, you spoke about how Imran Khan must address the issue and the scourge of terror and terror outfits operating out of Pakistan. There's a lot that can be said, again, between intent and action. And of course, Imran Khan once again reiterating, and I quote, "We don't want any terror organization to operate from our soil." But as I pointed out, there's a big distinction between intent and action. Air Marshal Patni, something that I found curious, sir, and I would I would request you to help us understand that, because what we do have a confirmation of is that in Budgam today, there was also a Mi-17 helicopter that crashed. Now, preliminary reports suggest that this was on account of a technical glitch, but in the course of that briefing by the Ministry of External Affairs and the Indian Air Force, there was no mention of the Mi-17 mishap. What would you make of that?
No, it is not. I don't think it is related to the subject under discussion. Crashes do take place. It happened to be in JNK.
That's right.
It's a helicopter that was flying in that area. Some technical glitch took place. I don't think it is related to all what we are discussing. It's a case apart. So I don't think we should bring in any of these little things and assume that everything that happens in our country today is related to what took place at...
No, absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you that there is absolutely no parallel being drawn between the events that have undertaken on account of the Pakistan strike and in any way suggesting that this is linked to that. I was merely asking that since it had happened today, perhaps and there were these parallels being drawn this morning, so perhaps a clarification would have come from the Ministry of External Affairs and the Indian Air Force just to clear some of those. And we live in an era, sir, where social media puts out.
Shereen, the major point is we do not tell lies.
Yes.
I said the major point is we do not tell lies. If there had been some problem, then that problem would have been aired correctly and to the point.
Right.
We are not Pakistan.
Yes.
We do not tell lies.
Yes, Mr. Kaju, I'll give you the final say, sir.
I think the Air Marshal is absolutely right. The crash of the Mi-17 had no place in a statement relating to India-Pakistan because, but I do think, given the atmosphere today, that if MOD or the Air Force had put out a brief statement separately indicating the causes of this crash, then it would not have led to this problem. Because the actual thing today is control of the information kind of conflict that is taking place. The Pakistanis are going ahead spreading all kinds of things in the Sai-War area. And if the Pakistanis are playing the media game and causing confusion, we've got to take that on. This is not 1940 or 1971 or even 1999. This is different. We are in a new information age, in the age of the social media when things happen second to second. And on this, we've got to be on top. That is why media is a weapon of conflict, and we need to be adept at using this weapon and use it effectively and be on top. That is all that I feel at this time.
You're absolutely right, sir, and I would imagine that there will be thought given to this as well, because this is a conflict of information as well, and information that is being spread across different mediums practically every second. There's a lot of fake news, ladies and gentlemen, so please do distinguish and differentiate between what is verified information and what is coming in from unverified sources. Air Marshal Patni and Vivek Kaju, appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18 to help make sense of the developments of the day.